Well, I'm delighted today to be speaking to Camilla Dell, founder of Black Brick Property Solutions and one of our sponsors of our Riyadh event coming this November. Welcome, Camilla.
Thank you, David.
So you're a well-known name on the scene here in London, but for those who don't know Black Brick, tell us a little bit more about the company and specifically what you're doing with clients in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, so I'm Camilla Dell. I'm the managing partner and also founder of Black Brick, which I set up in January 2007. So we've been going 17 and a half years. And we're a very specialist property consultancy or advisory firm. We're known as a buying agency. So what we do is we specialise in representing private clients, high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals, family offices, people who are looking to purchase mainly residential property in London and the home counties in the West Country, either for their own use or for investment. And unlike a typical estate agent that represents and works for the seller, we exclusively represent the interests of the buyer. So my company is all about buy-side representation. I feel very strongly and very passionately that for most people buying property, it's often a very significant financial transaction. And to have somebody professional representing you on that, I think makes a lot of sense.
Is the concept well known and understood by clients in the Kingdom as well? Are they familiar with why this approach adds value to them?
I think it's getting there. I think when I first set Black Brick up in 2007, I was often having to educate clients and also just the professional world about what is it that a buying agent does? What do you do? How are you adding value? How are you different to an estate agent? So I spent a lot of my early years talking about that. But I think fast forward to today, I think more and more professionals and certainly more and more clients totally understand this concept of a buying agent and actively seek us out. We actually had a client recently from the Kingdom find us on a Google search. He was looking to buy a property in London for his own use for the summer months, and he knew that buy-side advisors existed, and he had made his mind up that that's what he wanted in terms of a service. And he went on Google and he found Black Brick, and we're just in the process of buying him a fantastic apartment in central London.
Fantastic. And you're going to be in Riyadh in November for our event. Are you looking forward to making the trip?
I'm really excited about going to Riyadh. It's actually my very first visit to the Kingdom and long overdue. As a business, we've looked after and represented clients from the Kingdom pretty much since inception, since 2007. And we've had a range of clients from the Kingdom, ranging from really senior royal family members all the way to corporate professionals, businessmen, entrepreneurs. But I've never ever visited, so I'm really excited about being there.
Do you have a busy summer months with visitors here into London in August around this part in Mayfair? You often notice it, don't you? Is that busy for you around that time?
Absolutely. I think when most people are off kind of sunning themselves in Europe, we're pretty busy and hard at work. August actually, as a business, we took a record number of new inquiries from buyers looking for help when it came to their purchases. I've actually got one of my biggest clients over in the UK next week from Saudi looking to purchase a country estate. So it is definitely a busy time. Summer is a busy time. I think a lot of clients from the region, not just from Saudi, but all over the GCC, love to come to Europe. They love to come to London, obviously for the climate, but lots of other reasons as well. Culture, shopping, schooling, university, all of those reasons.
Fantastic. You're a well-renowned commentator on the real estate market. I mean, perhaps you could give us some headlines from prime central London and what you see as the key trends right now.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely a buyer's market at the moment. And so I think it's a really exciting time for anyone who's looking to enter the market, whether you're looking to buy a home or whether you're looking for an investment. For the first time in a long time, we're seeing much softer pricing, much more realistic pricing from sellers. We've even got the odd receivership sale coming across our books at the moment, which is quite unusual. So I think it's a really interesting time to be looking at the market in London. Particularly in light of interest rates now creeping their way downwards. It is making the opportunity to invest and buy into London much more attractive than it has been for quite some time.
Are there any areas that are particular hotspots within that, or what do you see?
I think clients from Saudi are quite focused often in terms of buying in London. They really tend to focus on what we call prime central London, so areas like Mayfair, Belgravia, Knightsbridge, and around Hyde Park really tend to be their area of focus, but not exclusively so. We've also been involved looking after Saudi clients buying, once they've got their London property, they then want to have something outside of London, often a country estate. Some of our clients are into horses and horse racing, and they actually own and keep horses, and so they're looking for country estates that have an equestrian side to it, where they can have their horses, and also a family home. So when they come to London, they're spending time in London, but then perhaps going to the country for the weekend, much like people in London do that live here full time.
Because you've expanded your business, haven't you, through partnerships out into the countryside market, which is obviously very different from the prime central London market that you know so well.
Yeah, so we've always covered Surrey since the very beginning, but recently we've expanded into the West Country. So we're now able to help clients looking to buy in Cornwall, Devon, Dorset, Somerset, which is really exciting. And I think, with climate change, often summers now in Europe are unbearably hot. And so I think there's a real opportunity. And I think places like Cornwall and areas of outstanding natural beauty along the British coastline will become more popular as summers in Europe become more unbearably hot.
You mentioned it's a buyer's market. Have you seen the new government injecting that bit of confidence? What do you think's driving that shift in gear?
Yeah, I think, political, politics in Britain, it's never an easy subject to discuss. But I think, we've got it's a clean slate, and we've got a big majority, which I think is important. And it means that the new government can absolutely get things done. And I think that in itself brings a lot of confidence. I think in a run-up to an election, there's always a bit of uncertainty. This time around, actually, there was far less uncertainty because I just think it was a given that Labour were going to get in. Obviously, we've got the budget coming at the end of October. So by the time we get to Saudi, Riyadh in November, it will have happened. And I think there's a lot of people waiting and watching to see what happens in the budget, what tax changes are going to come through. But on the whole, I think, I'm feeling pretty positive about things in the UK, and that we've got a government that are pro-business and pro-housing, building and making sure that there is enough housing for everybody.
Because it's not all about tax, is it? I mean, the picture is much more complicated for international investors coming to London for a variety of reasons. Might be education, business. The tax consideration is not where it's entirely centred on, is it?
I think for most of my clients from Saudi and in general from the Middle East, they are not looking to relocate to the UK and become resident here or become what's known as a UK res non-dom. They are mainly looking to purchase property here for their own use, for holiday use, mainly in the summer months. So they're not planning on relocating here. Therefore, changes to the UK res non-dom tax system doesn't affect, I would say, 99% of my clients in the Middle East.
And you work often with intermediaries, with the top private banks, the law firms. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about how you partner with professionals, both in Saudi Arabia but also outside. Absolutely.
I think when you're looking after a high net worth individual, there's a whole ecosystem that needs to be put around that individual to make things happen. Obviously, there's what we do on the property side, but in addition to that, there's lending, there's tax advice, there's structuring that happens for some of my very wealthy clients. Often don't buy in their own names; they're buying through trust. They've got to think about succession. So there's a lot of professionals that need to be put around the client to ensure that they're properly advised and that they take the best decisions. So we work really closely with private client law firms, private banks, trust companies, to really make sure that our clients have the best team helping them be successful in the market here.
Great, and we're really looking forward to working with you on this event alongside a team of really elite sponsors and hearing from you in the room on the night where you're going to be presenting to our audience there. So looking forward to a terrific event in November and building up to that from now. Thank you, Camilla.
Thank you, David.